Level 1. The nobody. You are invisible, not poor enough to be pitied, not powerful enough to be feared. Just one more citizen in a country that feels broken. You complain at dinner tables. You scroll through headlines and feel anger tightening your jaw. Corruption, inflation, crime, weak leadership. You tell your friends something that sounds harmless. This country needs strength. They nod. That's how it starts. At this level, you don't want control. You want order. You start speaking louder, posting more, attending small gatherings. People listen. Not because you're brilliant, because you're certain. And certainty is magnetic. Level 2. The voice of the frustrated. You build a following. It's small at first. Then it grows. You simplify complex problems into sharp sentences. You offer enemies instead of explanations. You promise action instead of nuance. Crowds respond to clarity. You hold rallies in modest halls. Flags wave. Chants begin. You learn something powerful. Anger scales faster than policy. You say what others are afraid to say, or at least what they think they're afraid to say. Your name spreads. News outlets mock you. That only helps. Because ridicule from elites sounds like validation to the discontent. You're no longer invisible. You are a symbol. Level 3. The movement. This is where things accelerate. You formalize the message. Slogans, colors, symbols. Merchandise appears. Your speeches sharpen. You repeat key phrases over and over until they feel like truth. We will restore greatness. We will take back control. We will cleanse corruption. You don't need detailed plans. You need emotional alignment. At this level, you realize something crucial. People don't follow policies. They follow identity. You stop speaking as an individual. You start speaking as destiny. Crowds swell. Opposition hardens. That tension fuels you. Because conflict creates momentum. You aren't running for office anymore. You are running against the system. Level 4. The election. You tell everyone you believe in democracy. You just believe it's broken. You campaign relentlessly. Your opponents underestimate you. They assume institutions will hold. But institutions depend on belief. And belief is shifting. Election night arrives. It's close. Then it tips. You win. The crowd erupts. Fireworks, tears, flags. You stand on stage and promise unity. You say this is a victory for the people. At this level, you still tell yourself you're saving the country. You take the oath, you enter the office, and you feel something intoxicating. Authority. Level 5. The consolidation. Being elected isn't enough. Power must be secured. You begin with small changes. Loyalists in key positions. Trusted allies in security agencies. Friendly media executives invited to private dinners. You frame it as efficiency, as reform, as necessary restructuring. Opposition journalists grow critical. You call them biased, disloyal, enemies of progress. Your supporters echo you. They trust you more than they trust institutions. This level teaches you the first true lesson of dictatorship. Control the narrative. If people believe you, rules become flexible. You test boundaries. A new emergency decree, an expanded surveillance program, temporary measures. Temporary becomes routine. Level 6. The crisis. Every dictator needs a crisis. Maybe it's economic collapse. Maybe it's civil unrest. Maybe it's external threat. When it arrives, you don't panic. You leverage it. You declare emergency powers, curfews, restrictions, expanded executive authority. You say it's for safety. Your supporters defend you fiercely. Your critics grow louder. So you act. A few high-profile investigations into opposition figures. A few legal charges, always justified, always framed as justice. At this level, fear becomes useful. Not widespread terror, just enough. Enough to silence hesitation. enough to make people choose comfort over resistance. Level 7. The removal of obstacles. You no longer pretend neutrality. You replace judges, restructure electoral boards, modify term limits. All legal, technically. Opposition protests fill the streets. You allow them at first. Then you limit permits. Then you cite security concerns. Gradually, resistance becomes inconvenient, then illegal. Your speeches change tone. Less hopeful, more commanding. You don't ask for loyalty anymore. You expect it. You notice something subtle. Fewer people contradict you in private meetings. They nod faster, agree quicker. You start believing your own certainty. Level 8. The personality cult. Your image appears everywhere. Billboards, classrooms, television. Children memorize your quotes. Songs are written in your honor. It feels excessive. At first, then it feels appropriate. Because without you, chaos would return. Your inner circle shrinks. Trust erodes at the top. You monitor those closest to you, just in case. Paranoia doesn't feel irrational. It feels responsible. You are no longer leading a government. You are the government. Level 9. Isolation. Years pass. Elections are easy now. Opposition barely registers. Your country is quiet, orderly, disciplined, predictable. But silence carries weight. You sit alone in your office late at night. Guards outside every door. Conversations filtered. You realize something unsettling. No one speaks freely around you anymore. Every word is calculated. Every compliment rehearsed. You remember the early rallies, the energy, the belief. Now power feels heavy. You have everything you demanded, and almost no one you trust. Level 10. The fear of falling. There is only one thing dictators truly fear: loss of control. You watch neighboring countries fall into revolution. You tighten laws, increase surveillance, monitor communications, precautionary measures. You tell yourself the people still love you. But love enforced by fear feels fragile. You begin rewriting history. Textbooks adjusted, records revised, your legacy curated. Because if control fades, judgment follows. Staying in power becomes survival. Level 11. The break-in point. Time moves, health shifts, age shows. Your speeches grow shorter, your circle smaller. You face a decision. Step down and risk prosecution. Or stay indefinitely. You stay. Because power, once tasted, is rarely surrendered. But cracks appear. Economic strain, whispers inside the military, foreign pressure. You realize something brutal. The system you built depends entirely on you. Without you, it collapses. With you, it suffocates. Level 12. The Endgame. You didn't set out to be a dictator. You set out to fix something broken. Each step felt justified. Each escalation felt necessary. Each boundary crossed felt temporary. Until temporary became permanent. The most dangerous step was never seizing power. It was the first compromise. The moment you believed you were the only solution. Because dictatorship isn't born overnight. It's built gradually, with applause, with fear, with certainty. And once built, it rarely leaves quietly. You wanted control. What you created was a cage with your name on it.